This is a video web assessment for Dr. Jeffrey Mendelson.
We're starting at Google, where everyone looks for everything, and we're going to look for you in three key buckets. First is your name, also known as your brand. Second is your service line, the type of doctor that you are. Third, we're looking for conditions and treatments. Now, these are ever-broadening circles, but you want to make sure that you show up in all of them because your competitors just might.
And we're starting off in the name bucket, looking for you just by your name. I have localized the search to Livonia, Michigan. So this is what people in Livonia will see if I change this to Warren, Michigan, and look to see what comes up. We see that we now have more or less the same set of results with one big difference. It's pulling in a Google map. And so it's critical for you to look at all of the surrounding communities that are going to show up. So depending on whether Livonia is your primary place or Warren, you want to know what's going on. And notice that there is a Google Plus map, Google Plus page showing up, and it's pulling in Macomb orthopedic surgeons. Not sure if that is correct or not. Would love to hear from you because you show up. Other than this one aside, your health grades and Mendelson ortho seem to be fighting for the top spot. And scrolling all the way down here to the bottom is what I'm told is your personal website, beathippain.com. And I think you'd probably like that to be a little higher up here too as well. So let's go back and take a look at Livonia, and we'll talk about this Google Plus page that we want to make sure that you have claimed and owned. And so we're going to go back to Livonia, and we're going to look at how you appear in other ways patients search for you by name. And again, your Beat Hip Pain is a little higher in Livonia than it is in Warren. So let's add MD, and notice that as I type, it shows me space MD, and this is superior to just your name. This indicates that more people are searching for you. I've defaulted back to Warren again. Let's see if we can bring Livonia up. And what we want to do is continue to look for you and see the variations. Notice that when I search for you, MD by name in Livonia, I don't get that Google Plus page. We need to have it in every place that you're at. So that's something that we know you need to add to your task list to get that fixed. Now, health grades is ranking number 1. That should never, ever be the case. Especially given that you have not one but 2 sites that have your name on it, we need to have you ranking up top. Now, I want you to notice the difference here right off the bat. This says Jeffrey D. Mendelson, MD, a pipe character, Mendelson Kornblum Orthopedics. This says Dr. Your Name MD, where you are, what you do. Same thing on you comparing vitals. They all follow the same sort of way of laying things out. Yours does not. The reason yours is higher than these is because Google's smart enough to know these guys are directories. This is your own site. But if you add a doctor in here and put in some locations in the title, you would come up a lot higher. Now, when I say title, I don't mean anything on this page. I mean right here. This up in here, it's gray on a Mac, it's blue on a PC. This is what search engines call a title. So you want to make sure that you put this in the appropriate way. Localization is important to be found up here. Mendelson Kornblum Orthopedic and Spine Specialist. Yes, name of your practice, not what people are searching for. They're searching for your name or your service line or conditions and treatments, and that's where it's critical that you use this title for that very purpose which it is intended. So let's go back here and look a little bit more, and we'll switch this around, and we're going to scroll down. Our Beat the Pain is also down here. Exact same thing. You have even less information on here. We've got Jeffrey Mendelson, MD, period. We don't even have the word orthopedics in here. Now let's go and look for doctor. And again, we're seeing people are searching you by name, but they're also localizing, typing in Warren and Warren, Michigan. And so when I search for Dr. Jeffrey Mendelson, I once again defaulted back to Warren. It really likes you in Warren. And let's see how we looked in if I change it back yet again to Livonia. Stuck on Warren, so we'll just keep looking at Warren. Scrolling down, we've got you by doctor. The Google Plus is always going to rank high because it's Google's. They want you to use it. Scrolling down here, your Mendelson Ortho one's still showing up. It's basically the same thing. Beat the Hip Pain actually has come up a little bit because you have the words Dr. Mendelson on that home page. I'm going to show you a little something about that as well, too. Okay, so bottom line, you can be found, Mendelson Ortho, your page on Mendelson Ortho is showing up, but your very own personal site is not showing up as much. So we know we've got some optimization work to do here. We know that we've got a good Google Plus page presence in Warren. It's only when we go to Livonia that we do not see your Google Plus pages showing up here. And they're just not doing it. All right, so let's switch gears then and look for service lines. So if I'm looking for an orthopedic surgeon, all right, if I do it generically, I get, look at there, your Mendelson Ortho. Now, bear in mind, I'm still in Warren. So this is how it comes up. So you are looking great in terms of coming up on your Google local pages. However, we've got a couple other people in what's called the organic searches showing up above you. If I localize this a little more and say Livonia, as you see that people are searching in multiple variations, and we search, and here we've got, there's your Google Plus page, etc. Now, and here's your Mendelson Ortho way down here. I keep pointing to this Google Plus page, but I want to show you something about that. When I click on this and go to it, I see that I've got no pictures, I've got no quotes, I've got like virtually nothing. That's because Google grabbed it, and this particular one is tied to Stephen Mendelson. No one has claimed this page by clicking Manage This Page. And for every doctor in your practice, odds are there is a Google Plus page for them. So lots of Google Plus work for you to do. This will only help you get found more and show up in other places. Let's look at hip surgeon. And so if I search again for hip, I got ZocDoc, I've got vitals, I've got this and that. I'm not seeing beat hip pain. Very disturbing. You'd think I would be showing that because we're talking about hip surgeon. Let's try hip pain. So if I do hip pain, scrolling down, ZocDocs, a ton of those are kind of littering up the place in here. And I do not have hip pain in Livonia. Let's try it with Warren. A little bit, yeah, here we go. So in Warren, I've got you coming up on Beat Hip Pain Orthopedics. It's kind of in your contact page. I see a lot of opportunity for you to be found in the service line and condition areas. Those are areas in which you're weak and you've got other people passing you, but these areas are also littered by ZocDocs and some of these others. So we'll look at a couple of more. So let's look at knee surgeon, Livonia, MI. And when I search for that, I get a list of doctors. I'm scrolling down here. I got Ortho Michigan. Don't have any of your practice. So there's some work here depending on the conditions and treatments. Now, I will take a quick look because I know you are a spine and orthopedics. When I do spine, getting some action here. I've got, look at there, 1, 2, 3 different Google Plus pages coming up. I've got the home page of you here. We also have My Laser Spine Surgery, which is a little bit of a scam site run by Laser Spine Institute. Know all about that. So you've got you got a lot of good things, a lot of opportunities that we can work on this website to get you found a little more. I've already showed you about the title, and so this is the thing I want to just kind of stress again. What you put in here is critical. Putting the words welcome to is shoving all of your important keywords further down. This ideally should say orthopedic spine pain management, Livonia, Warren, MI. Your name of your practice should be last, not first, because it's kind of shoving these things down. This is very important, especially on the homepage. These words in here are very critical too. You've got links to a lot of the things. Good, very good, but I'm concerned that some of the things that are in here are blocked or not done appropriately for search engine optimization. Let's just take I'll pick on sports medicine. When I go here, orthopedics and sports medicine, there's the title. Here it is, just echoed out up here. Now, I know, because I looked under the secret computer code behind your page, that you're using WordPress as a platform. And I highly approve of that. I love WordPress. I use it myself and every one of our sites. But you don't have all the bolt-ons and all of the things stuck in that we do that help you optimize. This is the default setting. Whatever you type here shows up there. That's the worst way to optimize your site, because usually you're wanting to do something a little more descriptive here and it doesn't necessarily translate. That's where I think we could put in a little bit of time, look at this together a little closer, and come up with some ways where you might change this a little bit and get a little better results out of this. Now, I want to show you something else, and this is another way to look at your website. And this is your website on the small screen. I've got an iPhone simulator, and we can see that it sort of looks like your website. And what I can tell is that someone installed a plugin that you can do some configuration and retrieve content from some of your pages. And this is good, better than a lot of people do. But I want to show you the way that we do websites. And I'm pulling up this website called Seattle Neuro. It is a spine surgeon, so some of your guys can relate. She's a neurosurgeon rather than ortho, but I want you to look at this website, and the content looks kind of similar to yours, but the difference is we did nothing at all to make this website appear. Instead, we use what's called responsive design. That means that this website here and this website here is exactly the same website. The look and feel just changes whenever you look at it on a smaller size. So there's no additional management like you're having to do with your mobile version. And every change is immediately appears on both mobile and desktop versions. Okay, so I want to go back here and look lastly at beat hip pain. And the reason that we aren't showing up. Notice that the title up at the top says beat hip pain for what is and isn't normal when it comes to hip pain. None of that, except for the words hip pain, should be here. Mendelson, Kornblum, Orthopedics down here. This is the about textbook of how not to optimize your page. However, it's what people think they need to do, because you're putting in kind of advertising copy for what is and isn't normal when it comes to hip pain. But you got to remember, the things that go up here should be what people search for. And until they search for what is and isn't normal, this isn't helping. So we want to change this to be keyword specific and localized. I want to see Livonia and Warren up in these titles. That's what needs to be going on here. Now, notice here, welcome to Beat Hip Pain, which is your dominant title. This should be something other than welcome to. It should be a statement of fact of what you do. Beat hip pain, Dr. Jeffrey Kornblum will show you how, or something like that, so that we're getting in those keywords that people are searching for, hip pain and your name. Down here, all this content, it's lovely content. However, this is more likely what people are searching for than these couple of paragraphs. You want to load the content and write for search. Put all of this in by all means, but rearrange it a little bit so that your keyword searches are showing up here. Hip pain. List out some of the non-surgical options. I do not know why we have a link here instead of a list. I'm sorry, we don't have a link here. We should. We should have a link to some of these things because that's going to help you get found. I know you put some time, effort, and money into this website, so I want to help you get it to perform for you. I am glad to see that you recognize the value of creating your own web presence. Now what we need to do is bring this thing to the top. Lastly, I believe the reason it's kind of discounted and shoved down so far, other than search, obviously it has the same sort of design. I'm assuming it's hosted in the same place. And Google might be thinking this is the exact same site and that you're trying to use duplicated content or what have you because of the IP address. I'm getting a little technical on you, but I think simply picking this up and moving it to a different location will help you show up higher. Would love to talk to you some more about some of the things I've found. You got a lot of good things going on, a lot of interesting anomalies between Livonia and Warren. I think we can help you get found for your site and make it with a few simple changes, get you a little higher in search engine, get some more patients into your office. I appreciate your time. Ask your rep or your communications manager to reach out to us and let's have a talk a little more about how we might be able to help. Thanks again for your time.